Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make Toscana soup. This is an Olive Garden copycat recipe. I've tweaked it a little bit, but I absolutely love it. My family absolutely loves it. And you can freeze the leftovers and save them for an easy dinner for another night of the week. So follow along and I'll show you how to make it. Alright guys, so these are the ingredients that you're going to need for this dish. I have my chicken broth, I have my ground sausage, which I'm going to brown in a pan, and then I have all my potatoes, which I'm going to dice up, my heavy whipping cream. I use these bacon bits and I throw them in the pan with the sausage. These are super easy, saves time, tastes really great. I also use my frozen onions. As you can tell, they're already open because I use these all the time. These taste just as good as fresh. A lot of times they're cheaper and they won't go bad, so you don't have to worry about that. Then I have my fresh kale, which I love, and then I have my garlic. This also saves time. Don't have to chop up and dice garlic. It's already diced minced garlic. All right, so follow along and I will show you how to make this. All right, guys, so we're going to start with the butter. I forgot to mention that you do need to have 2 tablespoons of butter. Pop that in. Start at that stove. If you don't want to use butter, you can use olive oil. If you've watched my other videos, you know we're an oil-free household. We have someone in our family who has an oil allergy. I just kind of eye the garlic. Some people like things really garlicky. I'm kind of more of a medium. I'll probably do about a tablespoon or so. Just using this knife here. And you're going to let that kind of simmer together. And you're also going to add in your onions. We like a lot of onions. Adds a lot of good flavor to the soup. So I'm going to kind of let that sit together for a minute, let the butter melt, and then I'll start working on some other things. Okay, so while that butter, garlic, and onions is cooking, I'm going to brown my Italian sausage in a separate pan. Get that going. I'm also going to add the bacon to this pan once this sausage is good. We're going to get that going. And then while these things are cooking, I'm going to cut up my potatoes and dice my kale. Okay, so my sausage is cooking in the other pan. You can see here, I got my sauteed butter, garlic, and onion. Now I'm going to add in my chicken broth. I got 32-ounce box of chicken broth here. I'm going to add that in. And I just have this on a low simmer here. Kind of turned it down to medium. And then I'm going to add in another. I have 2 different brands. It honestly doesn't matter. Chicken broth is chicken broth, or if you want to make your own chicken broth, you can. So I do 2 boxes of chicken broth. Put that in there. And these are the 32-ounce boxes of chicken broth. So now we're back here to the Italian sausage. We're going to want to really kind of mince that up. Get it really small. You don't want to have giant chunks of sausage while you're eating the soup. So you just kind of keep working that as it's cooking. The more it cooks, the easier it'll get to dice up, kind of chop up. So while this is cooking on medium, I'm going to now work on my potatoes. Alright guys, so I have washed all my potatoes. What's great about this is you don't have to peel them at all. You're just going to slice them. And then once you slice them, you're going to cut them into fourths. So you're going to get like little cubes like this, so that you'll have nice potato bites with each bite of soup. You can cut them smaller, bigger. I like to do kind of different sizes, depending on who likes what. Alright guys, we're back. I have all of my potatoes nice and diced up for the soup. Now when you're cutting, sometimes you'll find these little black pieces on the potato. You find that, you can cut it out or just set it aside. I don't normally use that part. I don't like that. So you can always take that out. You don't need to use it. And then back over to here, our sausage is browning very nicely. This was still cooking while I was making and cutting the potatoes. And what's so great is that you don't have to peel the potatoes. I put it in with the actual outside, the rind as you would call it. Chopping this up. Alright guys, now I'm going to be putting in my potatoes into the soup. As you can see, they're all different sizes. And these cook down nice, they get nice and soft. Perfect, very comforting soup, super good. We even make this in the summer. My family loves soup so much, we have it for summer meals. We just crank that air conditioning. But it's springtime here, so it's perfect. So you can stir that around. Okay, that sausage is still cooking away. I'm going to add in my pepper. I'm going to add in some salt. I just do this by eye, because I've been making this for a long time. And then everyone can individually salt and pepper their own bowl. That way you don't make it too salty or too peppery, because I know everybody likes their stuff different. So we're going to let this kind of mix together there. And then the sausage is almost ready. Once it's about ready, then I'm going to add the bacon to the sausage pan. Okay, so my sausage is still cooking. I am going to start dicing my kale. This is a pretty small bundle, so I'm actually going to use the whole thing. I kind of like to just traditionally chop it. Rustic chop, nothing too fancy, because it kind of wilts down while you're cooking it. And then I'm going to add this to the soup after I add the sausage. Bacon. And we'll show you what I do to add it. You don't need to drain off any of the fat because it actually adds really good flavor to the soup. So I'm going to set aside that pan. Now I'm going to add in my kale. I'm just going to kind of stir this together, and then I'm going to let this cook for about 30 to 40 minutes, just so all the flavors get together and the potatoes get nice and soft. And then once that's good and ready, then I'm going to add in my heavy whipping cream. So I'll see you guys in about 35 minutes. Okay guys, so we're back. Looking good. Now we're going to add in our heavy whipping cream. I do about a cup. And then you're going to want to just stir it around. And then you're going to let this cook again for about another 10 to 15 minutes. If you have longer, you can let it go. The longer that it goes, the better that it actually tastes. So if you make it earlier in the day, you can, cook it on low, let it simmer. I like to do that. But if you want to make it quickly, you can make this in about 45 minutes to an hour. It just depends on how long it takes the potatoes to boil. Look at that. Looking good.